Welcome back for one more part of XCOM 2. Last time we captured an alien UFO to get some supplies, we extracted Lord of X and Constance from an alien and lost infested city. Then, when the aliens tried to start a broadcast to abduct all humans by fooling them to go into various abduction points, we intercepted the broadcast and changed it into pro-XCOM propaganda. So not only was humanity saved, but they were turned against their alien masters along the way, so that went very well. But now we've got a more important mission to do. I say more important, in terms of where we are in the story right now, this mission actually has no known significance to us. What we're doing is putting the commander's consciousness into an alien avatar, which will allow us to open the psionic gate, transporting one of our squads into an alien base. We know nothing about that base, but the guess is that sending a squad in will in some way bring up a target of opportunity, a way to damage the aliens beyond repair. We do have no way of knowing whether that will actually be the case, but we're just going to do it, and since it's the final mission in the game and there's some build-up, the player is led to believe that something important might actually be going on. No welcoming party for us as we arrive, but they do know that we're here because not only do they turn the TV on to show us some footage of their men in action, but one of the elders, this ethereal, starts talking to us and doing the general trash talk that you might expect. They're very angry that we're coming into their base, but they haven't sent any troops to actually stop us yet. They will eventually though. We just have to move up through this stage and defeat all the enemies in front of us. This is part 2 of the 3-part final mission. So we just need to get to the end of the level. There'll be loads of enemies between here and there, so let's start shooting them. WotC misses an overwatch, and you might note he's actually got his arms and legs back as a result of us inventing power armor, so good for him, he at least looks the part now. Arakamani takes out the first enemy Muton now, a newcomer brought in especially for this mission, just for some spice. This is Vithericus from the second Messiah. He gets a kill as well. Now the commander's avatar uses mind control on one of the mutons, so now this guy will act as a suitable distraction and such, and may even be able to attack enemies. The final enemy that was hostile to us was taken down by Crotch. And just like that, the first pod is gone. Very easy start. Time to see what the aliens have next. It seems that the mind-controlled muton is able to actually aggro other enemy pods, because the mind-controlled muton could see those enemies in the background, and now they're coming to attack us, thinking they're going to attack the muton. Soon they'll discover that we're behind it as well. A whole load of different enemies here. They've got a sectopod, a couple of other mechs, a shield bearer, a couple of mutons there, just a whole mixed bag. The Chosen Warlock also decides to teleport in to join this squad. I guess this is because I didn't kill him in his own special Chosen mission earlier. He's now going to take part in the fight, and the Hunter will show up later. Our mind-controlled muton is going to run towards the enemy. I thought I'd be able to shoot them now, but actually he only gets one action because he's still debuffed from the tactical impairment he got in the first turn, so that's annoying. Now he's just standing there, but he's going to make a suitable distraction, whatever the case, so that is something. As for all the actual enemies, we're going to get Constantinus on the job. Because the enemies are all bunched together, and there's quite a lot of them, this is the perfect scenario for using saturation fire. So I took a look around to see what sort of shots we could get. Eventually get something I'm happy with there and take the shot, getting a couple of criticals and a kill on a shield bearer. Very nice, even the Chosen taking a critical there. Now though, the real damage will start, because we've got the commander's avatar's dimensional rift attack to use. This is extremely overpowered. It's similar to the gateway attack that the gatekeepers can use, but it's even more powerful. It just does a whole load of damage to everything in a massive area of effect, and it also, like Psionic Bomb, leaves an after effect that will also damage anything there in the next turn. So you can see I used it there to kill not only my own muton, but most of the enemies out there as well. Arakamani moved up to shoot the Warlock. I realised we had a chance to kill it with a rapid fire, 2 60-something% chance shots. He actually doesn't take them, and the Warlock just dies of the sheer audaciousness of our attack, with 2 criticals apparently, so see ya, that was incredibly lucky. Things going pretty well then as we get started. Now just a couple of enemies to deal with. Our next shot is with Spooky Sam, who can use Deadeye to potentially kill the sectopod here. he actually doesn't kill it, but he takes it down to almost the point of death. So now a grenade from Prole Hunter goes forwards and kills both the Sectopod and the mech behind it with a critical. There we go. That left only a Muton. It moved forwards during its turn, achieving nothing and then getting annihilated by Prole Hunter, who outflanked it. So there we go. That's another alien pod down. We moved through the room we just fought into the other side and found a whole load of these Vipers, so it's time to fight with these guys. Of course, we need to avoid being pulled forwards by them ideally, and the more kills we can get right now, the lower the probability. Crotch gives us one. I think that was a collab with Arakamani actually. Prole Hunter gives us another grenade. I was hoping to get 2 kills here, but we actually just brought 2 down to 1 health and didn't even remove their cover, so that was disappointing. Everyone else actually ended up missing during that turn, so now we've got a few Vipers attacking us, and we do indeed get Vithericus drawn in by one of the binding attacks, so that's a bad thing to happen on your first day on the job. He's also going to be poisoned to add insult to injury there. And finally, this one at the back is going to take a cheeky shot at Arakamani, but it doesn't hit, luckily enough. Now the commander's avatar moves up to lead by example, killing the Viper with full health at the back there, leaving just those 2 with 1 health. Just need to hit them with something. Constantinus gives us some nice overkill, critically one of them, and then Arakamani just moves up to kill the other one with no issues, and Vithericus is now back in the fight, although he is going to be poisoned. Next, we move up into the room in front of us and discover on the other side some more enemies to fight. There are a couple of Andromedons, a couple of Archons, and 3 Mutons I think it is there, so a nice selection. They all kind of form up in front of us, and immediately I was thinking, well, it's saturation fire time then. Let's see how many we can get with a cone of fire here. Prole Hunter takes the shot, hoping to take off some armor from one of those Andromedons in particular, but we only actually got 1 hit there, so that was a bit of a shame. We did get a kill, but still, very bad luck I think, making up for the good luck we had earlier I suppose. Constantinus will shoot a rocket into that group of enemies instead. That'll do some damage and start reducing the armor on that Andromedon. But when it really comes to doing damage, it's got to be all about some Dimensional Rift. We use that again. It does charge up after a couple of turns, so you can spam it. And indeed, it's still overpowered, getting 2 kills and almost killing the Andromedons. WotC uses Fan Fire, an ability that makes you shoot your pistol 3 times at an Archon, but it only hits once, so the Archon is still alive. Vithericus tries to get a hit there as well, succeeds, but again, this thing's still alive, and now it's angry. I think that gives it some sort of minor buff, not sure exactly what, because the game doesn't actually tell you. Tactical Analysis is debuffing everything, so they can't move very much, and I've got a whole load of Overwatches just all over the place, so I was ready for this turn. Spooky Sam immediately kills one of the Andromedons, sending it into its Andromedon shell phase. This actually cancels its turn. It costs its turn to go to the next phase, so now it is going to be stuck inside the Dimensional Rift's after effect damage next turn, so he's going to be in trouble. The other Andromedon goes into Overwatch while also being in the damage zone, so he's going to die pretty soon. One of the Mutons thinks about doing something, but Lordovix has that Overwatch perk that means he just shoots anything that does anything, and he kills it easily. The Archon there moves forward, but Spooky Sam's Killzone Overwatch misses. Lordovix has the same experience, and then Arakamani misses his normal Overwatch. So that's a shame. Now this guy's getting through. Looks like it's going for Vithericus. It's going to do this old school, just hitting him with a metal bar. You'd think these technologically superior aliens could come up with something more impressive, but no, Vithericus just tanks it. The other one shoots the commander's avatar, but it's only a bit of damage, and the avatar regenerates health every turn, so taking a bit of damage doesn't really matter. There goes the Dimensional Rift, killing the other Andromedons. Now we've got 2 shells, but one of them's had almost all of its health taken away already, so we can just take it down. You can see WotC has the 100% chance to hit, so we can use Serial to take that action and have it not count, since we are guaranteed to kill it. This means he can now shoot at his other visible target, the Archon on the left, and just start damaging it, although in this case it's only a grazing shot. For the Archon that went for Vithericus, since it's right in front of us, we can just shoot it, and Lordovix has the pleasure of doing that. There we go. Now I got Arakamani and Vithericus to team up on dealing with the shells across the way. Now they're gone, or the remaining shell I should say, and Crotch kills the remaining Archon. There we go, another battle won. Of course, just edging forwards a bit more reveals some more enemies to fight. This time, 2 sectoids, 2 mutons, and an Archon. So easier than the last pod, nothing too special. You can also see, if you're very eagle-eyed, there's another pod just behind it that we saw in the corner for a moment there. Arakamani uses rapid fire on the Archon. He almost forgets to take his second shot here, but when he does, it doesn't kill, so that's annoying. Now someone else has to use an action attacking that 1 health Archon. Not really a big deal though. I'm going to use the Commander's Null Lance. This is an ability that's a bit like the Saturation Fire. It attacks everything in a cone, but it's only a 1 tile wide cone, so it's hard to get lots of hits. But it does ignore cover, so using that I could take one of the enemy's mutons in heavy cover out of the picture. Now Spooky Sam somehow has really good probability to hit those sectoids over there even though they are in cover, so we're going to use that to our advantage, using Serial to make the first kill free, getting a critical. Now we can fire at the other one. Might also note that Spooky Sam has put on a suit for this very special mission for some reason. Not sure why that happened. It changes your outfit whenever your armor gets upgraded, and for some reason some of our characters put suits on throughout the course of proceedings. Anyway, Lord of Ix blows up the Archon and another grenade goes out for the other muton, but we can't destroy its cover. Not that that matters because we live in the world where hail of bullets exists, so Prole Hunter just gives himself a 100% chance to hit shot, and there we go, now we can just reload and there will be no penalty for having done that. The small structures nearby are reported to be human enclosures. It seems the aliens had been abducting us before they invaded Earth to study our psychology a bit, so that's nice of them, getting to know us before they come in and kill us all. Now a couple of sectoids, 4 sectoids to be more precise, are coming in to fight from the background there. We didn't really achieve anything against them because they're all out of line of sight and in good cover, so their turn comes about. They try a mind control on Arakamani. It fails, but he panics because of the attempt, so we won't get to use him now. Spooky Sam's on Overwatch and gets some hit against something, didn't really see what there, but one of the sectoids died. So that's got to be good news. Arakamani makes a run and tries to shoot one in heavy cover, but that doesn't work. Does 1 damage, so that's something. Now, in the next turn, we've got WotC in the far background who takes out another sectoid for us that was just standing out in the open. Now I'm going to move Vithericus up into this heavy cover position, but that accidentally aggroes in some more enemies, and there are 2 gatekeepers back there, so now we're getting serious. 2 at the same time is pretty dangerous. Vithericus had no moves he could make, so he's just going to have to sit there and overwatch for a bit. Wanted to get rid of the overwatching sectoid just in front of him, and Crotch uses Hail of Bullets, although not actually bullets in this case, to get rid of it. Prole Hunter climbed up on top of the human enclosures and gave us a grenade, starting to reduce the armor on 2 of the gatekeepers. They start with 6 armor, so you really need to get rid of it, otherwise you just won't damage them at all. It does cause one of the nearby codexes to clone in front of him, so that's a shame. Now the commander's avatar uses good old Dimensional Rift to kill one of the codexes and put a load of damage onto those gatekeepers. That's what we like to see. Another codex gets cloned forwards. Spooky Sam takes it out immediately using lightning hands. He could also see the other cloned codex, so I took a shot at that one as well, and it's a hit. So that's pretty badass from Spooky Sam, taking out both of them there. Time for the alien turn. They've got the tactical analysis debuff, so these gatekeepers only have 1 move and they're sitting in the Dimensional Rift. Both of them decide to fire at Vithericus. He's having a really bad first mission, but neither of them hit. He is in heavy cover. So that is absolutely perfect. Since the AI prioritizes attacking over movement when it only has 1 action, they're going to take massive damage from the Dimensional Rift. Lord of Ix misses but kills a codex, the last sectoid goes into Overwatch, and now both gatekeepers are killed by the Dimensional Rift, and this chosen hunter, which is spawning in here, is also damaged by it. I guess it counts as being there before it actually appears. Now killing both of those gatekeepers was really the moment of this campaign, because if both of them had used Gateway on their first turn like they usually do, it could easily have killed 3, 4, 5 of our squad members at the same time, and there would have been nothing we could do to stop it, but instead they achieved absolutely nothing, so that is perfect. The hunter spawns in a few advent troopers, so now we have to kill these guys to complete the mission. At least I assume you do. You might just be able to complete it by killing the hunter, since spawned in enemies don't always count. But whatever, this guy tries a sneaky running on air tactic to dodge Vithericus's Overwatch shot. Seems to work. We did also have the Avatar on Overwatch as well, and he manages to get the hit we were looking for. Very nice. Now we're just going to start wiping out these troopers. Arakamani can outflank one of them there and get the hit. Very nice. Next up, the commander's Avatar kills another one after a grenade removed his cover there, I believe. In the alien turn, the hunter doesn't bother with the usual tracking shot thing. It just straight up shoots WotC there, doing not too much damage, but inflicting a bleeding effect. That means he's now losing health rapidly. We just have to use a med pack to get rid of that, and we needed to do that anyway, so that's no big deal. An explosion that we didn't really see gets rid of another advent trooper, leaving just the chosen hunter. The commander gets a bit of damage there with a nice outflanking shot. Then I used Prole Hunter's demolition skill to remove the hunter's heavy cover. This means pretty much anyone can get a nice outflanking shot now, and the hunter doesn't even move during his turn. This is actually the next turn now. He just stood there and went into Overwatch, and Arakamani shot him at point blank range. That was the end of that. So we've now completed part 2 of the 3 parts of the final mission. Now for part 3, we go through the door at the back of the room, and the game now reveals to us that this base is actually under the sea. This is another one of these plot reveals where the player already knew, because the base is actually shown as being under the sea from the very beginning of the game on the campaign map thing, and this is also shown as being the location of this mission when you pick it, so whatever. Anyway, inside this room, looks like the Elders are around, and they've got some more avatars. Even though the avatar project was never completed, they do actually have them. I'm not sure if maybe they're weaker because you kept the avatar progress down or something. Maybe it just doesn't matter. Here we are in this room. The new objective is to fight some avatars. You might have noted we still haven't actually achieved anything in this mission, but we'll get to that soon, hopefully. And you can see there are some fish outside, so indeed, we're under the sea. We move the squad into cover, and on the other side of this big wall feature thing in front of us there are some enemies, including an avatar, so this is our target, and as it says on the right, we have to defeat 3 avatars for something to happen. A couple of Overwatch shots get a bit of damage onto that avatar as things start. The ethereal avatar, which I guess is their leader, or the ethereal elder really, starts telling us something along the lines of they're the only ones holding back some threat that followed them here, and if we kill them we'll also die. But our team just rejects those claims, but I think that might actually be setting us up for the fact that XCOM were wrong to be doing what they were doing all along, which may be revealed in a future game, we'll see. Now the avatar takes a nice hit from Lodovix, teleports away to try and get away from more shots, but Crotch is there with a 70-something% chance to hit. Gets it, only a graze, but it's enough to kill, and right off the bat, that's Avatar 1 down. The aliens react by sending in a few more troops. It's a load of mutons spawning on our left. There are loads of spawn gates in this room, and they'll just keep spawning troops constantly, so you can get a bit overwhelmed, especially because we have the plus 50% pod size thing on, so there's going to be absolutely loads of them. But when things get desperate, all we need to do is turn to Spooky Sam. He uses his serial ability to kill 1 muton and turn that into 2 kills here, shooting another one even while it was in cover. Very good from him. Had a third one in line of sight as well, so thought, well, let's just keep things going the Spooky Sam way, and of course this guy's going down as well. That's made things a lot easier for us, just 2 more over on our left there. We got Prole Hunter to fire a grenade at them to get rid of their cover and start damaging them. Now we'll just take them out later in the turn. For now I wanted to use my Dimensional Rift because it's about time we killed something over here. I can use it to damage the Gatekeeper, which I was pretty eager to do since this ignores its armor and just reduces its health. We can also kill a troop and an Archon using their attack and damage another Archon as well. All very good, maybe we'll get some damage later with the after effect. Now it's time for WotC to also use Serial and shoot at the 2 mutons that survived Spooky Sam's onslaught, getting the first kill there, and there's the other one. Since the cover was already blown, we had pretty good chance to hit on both of those, getting an unnecessary crit at the end. Very good from WotC. More enemies start spawning in now. This time they've spawned in with another avatar, so we've got our next target, but he's right at the back of the map, so we're going to have to wait for him to move over before we can actually engage with him. Gives us some time to finish off the guys just ahead of us anyway. The Gatekeeper makes a run for it, going out of the Dimensional Rift, so that's a shame. Had a couple of Overwatch shots getting hits there, but with its heavy armor, it doesn't do very much damage. Now it's going to open up, because of course it is time for Gateway. Strangely though, the camera looks over to the left, and I thought, why is it showing us that? That can't be the target. But it was. It used Gateway on nothing, so we seem to have been the beneficiaries of a very bad bug there. Pretty nice. The Archon rushes forwards and OffiD misses the Overwatch shot. Arakamani also decides that he's going to have a go, also missing a 1 damage miss there. All that means poor Vithericus is now in trouble once again. For the second time, he is going to be the victim of a bit of good old-fashioned metal bar whooping. So that's a shame, but at least that Archon's now going to be easy to kill. Now some more enemies spawn in, this time over to our right. It's a load of Vipers and Archons, and the Dimensional Rift eventually didn't damage anything, so that is sad. Vithericus can easily take revenge on the Archon. There we go, getting rid of him, so that's something. Now I'm going to try and take down some of these enemies on our right using this Shredstorm Cannon with Arakamani. It's a special weapon that replaces the rocket launcher on his exoskeleton suit. And it's a bit like the Saturation Fire, just does damage in a cone, but I think it might be guaranteed to hit. We get 2 Vipers and some damage onto an Archon, so that makes things easier. Crotch deals with another Viper as well, so no annoying binding going to happen there, hopefully. Now in the alien turn, their avatar runs forwards. Get a bit of avatar-on-avatar action there with a nice miss from the commander. Spooky Sam thinks he can do better with his pistol. Unfortunately though, he can't. This avatar is hard to hit by the looks of things, so he's going to stand there, actually not in cover, right in front of us, so that's going to give us some easy chances to get a hit on him right there. Now loads of enemies will slowly make their way up towards us from the background there as the pod that the avatar spawned in with comes into play, and that mech's going to use suppression on our avatar, so he's stuck there, but at least he's stuck in heavy cover. Over on the right, these Archons will now make their move, and this guy's using the Archon's special ability, Blazing Pinions, which in my original playthrough they always used on the first turn where we met them. This time, I think this is the first time that they've actually bothered to do it. It just targets a whole load of your party members at once, and if you don't move them, there's then an explosion next turn. Maybe it only uses it if you actually have party members close together, and for whatever reason, we never ended up having that. It also then floats there above, waiting for something to happen, so it's kind of annoying to hit while it's up there. OffiD, WotC takes down the other Archon with an Overwatch shot, handily enough. More alien reinforcements spawn in near the avatar, a couple more Archons and some sectoids there joining the battle. I'm actually now going to skip over what I did in my turn for reasons you'll see in a second. Here's what happened during the alien turn. Their Archons over there started shooting at the avatar. He got hit with a critical despite being in heavy cover, and then the exact same thing happened again. Getting a crit against someone in heavy cover is a very low probability event. Just getting a hit is pretty low probability, like 10 or 20%. So there we go. In our pure Iron Man rules, the commander died, and that's the end of his story. Maybe XCOM went on to win without him, but we don't know. In this case, what the game makes you do is just go back to the start of the last turn. So now we'll see what I actually did during that turn, and we'll hope for better RNG this time. Pretty bad start, as you can see, taking a 90-something% chance to hit against the avatar, and missing with Spooky Sam. That's not very nice. WotC's going to use Fanfire on this Archon to bring it down, just spamming it with his pistol, and there we go, that's the Archon that used the Blazing Pinions dealt with. I used Lordovix's Gremlin bot to shut down the mech that had our avatar suppressed, and we were successful there. So now he'll just be standing there for a bit, and I'm going to ignore him. This allows me to use my avatar to shoot their avatar, and we get a critical there, very nice, taking off half of its health. It teleports away off to our left into a position of heavy cover. Vithericus was waiting nearby but misses his Overwatch shot. I'm going to take a shot at him using Hail of Bullets with Brawl Hunter so we can ignore the fact he's in heavy cover. That takes him down to just a couple of hit points left, and it means he'll teleport again to go somewhere else, this time teleporting roughly into the middle of the map, and that allowed me to get Constantinus, who was hanging about on the right hand side, to shoot a grenade up and actually kill it. So there we go, that's 2 avatars down and 2 elders down, presumably. It seems like they explode when you kill the avatars, I'm not quite sure how that works. Anyway, the enemy reacts by spawning in some more enemies and bringing down another avatar for us to fight. Just missing the attacks from the blazing pinions there, but it didn't do any damage. So there's our final target, in amongst these enemies, barely visible as he postures and such. So we need to wait for him to move up and become visible now. There are just so many enemies gathering up in that corner. We need to avoid going there at all costs and try to lure things out to get killed separately. I guess it's working, because here we can see a Spectre rushes out from the group and it uses Shadow Bind on Proll Hunter, so now we've got a ghostly Proll Hunter to fight. We also get another Spectre coming up to use Horror on Lordovix here. This does a bit of damage, but it also has psychological effects. And in this case, he gets the Obsession effect, so it seems now all he wants to do is kill the Spectre that just attacked him, and he makes some good first progress there, taking off most of its health with a bit of return fire. The commander is more lucky this time, not getting hit by that Archon's attack, and the other Archon doesn't shoot this time, it just runs up. Lordovix, because of his obsession, is going to take another shot at that Spectre, missing but doing 1 damage. It's nearly down, should be able to finish it off soon. First, going to get the commander to use Null Lance just in front of him, because there are so many enemies that we can actually hit a load of stuff, even with its 1 tile arc. So we kill 3 sectoids there and put some damage onto an Archon as well, I think. Very nice attack. I had Vithericus go and kill Proll Hunter's Shadowbound Ghost in order to get him back into the fight, especially because Vithericus wasn't really doing anything, had him hiding in the corner at this point. A grenade goes forwards to start thinning out the enemies in front of us. We need to take the pressure off and just kill everything we can see before the next massive wave of enemies attacks us, and a combination of that grenade and this saturation fire from Proll Hunter does just that. One of the Archons actually shouldn't have died, but he got an executed thing, which is where there's like a 5% chance because of his weapon upgrade to kill enemies if you attack them, no matter how much damage it does. So one of the Archons got deleted. There we saw Crotch took out the Spectre that was annoying Lordovix as well, so that's all good. The enemy heavy mech uses its mortar attack on Lordovix, ever the target. Poor him, he takes some damage and loses his cover. And there's the Avatar running right to the front of the enemy formation, so that's good since it's the only thing we really need to target. WotC has a 100% chance to hit and gets a critical on it, so now that's half of the Avatar's health taken away pretty much right off the bat. It teleports over to the other side of the map, but it's not far away enough because we had Arakamani hanging about over there, and he can use run and gun to go right next to the Avatar to make sure we're very likely to get some hits in here. And as it happens, you can chain run and gun with rapid fire, so now that we're here we can shoot him twice at point blank range, and that will surely be enough to kill. Both shots have a 100% chance to hit, so as long as he doesn't get a dodge on both of them, he's going down, and he doesn't dodge either, even getting hit with a critical. So that's 1 more Avatar and perhaps 1 more Elder taken out of the picture, and that brings the gameplay portion of the game to an end. That's all you had to do to complete the mission. You could still argue we haven't actually achieved anything, but there you go. The problem that actually comes up here is that having the elders be dead or transferred back to wherever they came from or what have you causes the psionic gate to close, so now we can't go back. Or can we? It turns out that the commander as the Avatar also has the ability to stabilize the gates and make its teleportation technology work in some way. There's only one issue with this plan, and that is that the elders are actually still here, as we'll see. Their psionic form, their ghostly form, is hanging around in the base, and they can use their powers to stop the Avatar, our Avatar that is, from stabilizing the gateway. So we are now trapped here. It implies that the Elders' real bodies are actually in pods in this room where we first started this mission. So maybe that's why the spirits are still here too, because they just got sent back in here by the deaths of the Avatars. So what actually happens is the Commander's Avatar decides to engage in some sort of anime battle with the Elder spirits. And the Elders mention again that if we kill them, the thing that they're stopping from destroying all of reality or something will then come for us. But again, we don't really care about that. So the commander does something, We get a fade to white, and then I guess he survived, and maybe the whole squad survived because he just wakes up back in the ship. So maybe he defeated the elders, then opened the gate for the squad to get back through, or maybe not. The fate of the squad in the final mission actually isn't revealed. So maybe they died, maybe the commander only made it back because he was only there in psychic form anyway. His real body was still in the ship, so he just got severed and he woke back up. We don't know. What we do know here is that the civilians currently in the occupied alien cities decide to rebel en masse as a result of finding out about all of the aliens' shenanigans. So hopefully they'll be able to overthrow them, and the game ends with a small cutscene showing them killing a few troops and taking a checkpoint. That's all we really see of the war between the humans and the aliens from now on. I think it's just trying to imply that the humans eventually won in some way. So we did it, guys. The resistance eventually succeeded, with or without our help, without presumably. And there we go. That is XCOM 2, War of the Chosen. There are a couple more scenes here, and one of them, this one, is the most interesting. We see pieces of the base we were just in, which perhaps implies that that anime battle earlier actually destroyed the entire base with its intensity, which might mean the elders are now also dead, which, as they claimed, now unleashes the ancient evil that they were holding back. Some sort of mysterious, tenderly psychic-looking being starts appearing from under the sea. Presumably that's just a little bit of a cliffhanger for a future game. We also get to see what the factions did after the game. The Reapers decided to stop living in the forest, and that's all there is to that. The Skirmishers, the defected Advent troops, got some more defecting Advent troops to join their ranks, so hopefully they'll help us defeat the aliens. Presumably they did, although again, we don't really see it. We just see them hanging around here and looking at each other. And finally, the Templars are looking out to sea and notice a strange glow in some sort of pillar or something, so I think they might be trying to plan for what's going to happen after the aliens are gone. Now here's the final victory stats. There we go. We won the game. Technically we didn't in a fully Iron Man way because we did lose during the final mission, but we somehow got here anyway. Looking at the stats, it says we lost 25 soldiers in the fight. I counted it as more like 13. Maybe that number includes resistance soldiers who died along the way. Still, a lot higher than the global average, as you can see. We also did far fewer missions than the global average, so my plan to make this crazy mod have the game be more short and more intense seems to have worked. We did just over half the number of missions you're meant to do, but we killed about the same number of aliens and took far more losses than the average player does. Looks like the average player bothers to kill all of the Chosen as well, which we didn't because you just don't really need to. And most of the other stats here are just indicative of the fact that the game was shorter than it's meant to be. We didn't get as much research as people usually do, didn't get soldier bonds, but we did get lots of ranks because I made it easier to level up in order to counter for the fact we're not playing for the full time. So we basically had a squad that ended up being stronger than you're meant to have, yet along the way we took far more losses than the average player does, so I'm still trying to work out whether this mod actually made it easier or harder to play the game. It's hard to say at this point. Mixed results it definitely gave, but whatever the case, we have been successful. The aliens are probably defeated, it's not necessarily clear, and maybe humanity will now just be destroyed by something else. I presume XCOM 3 will be a remake of an old game. There's a game called XCOM Terror from the Deep or something, and it looked like a Terror from the Deep was meant to be appearing there, so that's probably that. It's also the end of this series, so thank you very much for watching this abridged XCOM 2 campaign. It is a bit of an anticlimactic ending, I must say. We don't actually find out what happened to XCOM or any of the characters, or indeed any of our squad. We don't even know if they survived that final mission. It's sort of implied they didn't, but maybe they did, we don't actually know. So you'll just have to all invent your own headcanon for what became of all of our valiant soldiers in this particular campaign. As for what comes next in this slot on the OffiD channel schedule, I'm not quite sure. I was going to do an Empire Total War abridged campaign, but I just can't bring myself to play it. I'm too fatigued. I can't play it even when literally being paid to play it. I'm too annoyed by the prospect of actually filming the campaign. So at this stage, I don't know. It might be nothing for a short time while I work out what exactly I'm going to do here. I'll try and find something I'm interested in enough to actually play through the whole game in order to get the footage, etc. We'll see. Do leave any suggestions, of course, in the comments because that might help me out. So that really is it. There's no post-credits sequence, by the way. The credits just go on for about 20 minutes and then nothing happens, just to troll the players. So I will bid you goodbye. Thank you very much for watching this XCOM 2 War of the Chosen Abridged campaign.